So welcome back to the final case for this week of Favorite on Friday. In this case, we are going over to Mexico. This case does have a lot of news coverage because it was kind of controversial and did cause a lot of outrage, but you know, understandably. But however, most of the information was in Spanish, but luckily we have such thing called Google Translate because, you know, your girl not speaks Spanish. Your girl barely speaks English right half the time. So, of course, I do have sources down below as always. 5, surprisingly, gathered information that I can. Of course, let me know what you think down below. And with that being said, let's go and get started.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
So, Roxana was born sometime in 2000. Like, estimated 2000, because there's no, like, exact date of birth, in a community called Oaxaca. This is in Mexico. When she's around, like, 13, her family moves to, like, the outskirts of the city, and apparently this is, like, one of the most dangerous parts of Mexico. So, she would eventually graduate high school. Again, don't have a year. She apparently gets married, but they eventually wind up separating. When she was a teenager, she did meet the father of her future child, and she gave birth to a son on May 15, 2019. The son's name we don't even know. She would eventually leave the relationship because apparently the father of her child was being abusive, but she was confronted like by men, authorities, and the state. So basically being a woman in Mexico is like not the ideal situation, pretty much. And so fast forward to like May of 2021, Roxana apparently is selling like French fries out the street to like for some extra income. So while she's out on the curb like selling French fries for the income, she sees this man named Sanai Cruz. I don't know how to pronounce the first name. I'm gonna put it right here so you know what I'm trying to say. So anyway, she sees this guy named Cruz, what we're gonna call him. They start talking. He asks her to walk her home. She's like, sure. He walks her home and he claims that like his house was like far from where she was. So can I stay the night? She did not feel comfortable, but apparently he like convinced her somehow. And so she lets him in, but he's like, look, you gotta sleep on the couch. Cause like, you're not about to sleep with me, right? Sometime during the night, he sadly goes into the room, gets on top of her, he rapes her, and he's strangling her. And of course, you know, she's screaming for her life. So this is after she's raped. She grabs a t-shirt. I don't know whose t-shirt this is, but somebody's t-shirt. She grabs him, strangles him, he's dead. So then she puts him in a little bag, and the police are apparently, like, they don't see her put the body in the bag, but she's trying to dispose of it, and I guess she thought because it was nighttime, she, like, wouldn't get seen, and the police just happened to be driving by, they saw her, they arrested her. She would, of course, claim, hey, I was raped. She never was tested for rape. And so there was an officer that apparently even had the audacity to say that maybe, like, she wanted it, like, she was being promiscuous, but changed her mind last minute, and that's why she's saying it's rape, so she wouldn't get in trouble, like, any legal trouble. And she would have to spend 9 months in jail, but was released while waiting for her trial to start. She would eventually get sentenced to 6 years, 2 months, and a week on the charge of murder with excessive use of legitimate defense. So basically, like, you kind of had the right to kill him. So, of course, the fact she's even going to jail for, like, killing the man who raped her, it obviously causes outrage, protests, like I mentioned earlier. Her lawyer immediately appealed, saying that it wasn't fair and that women are not getting proper treatment and men are basically getting off scot-free for, like, killing and raping women. So, had he killed her, he basically would have gone off light. Like, if he had been sentenced at all, he would have gone off light or he would have gone off scot-free. So, then, to add on top of the insult, she had to pay $16,000 or 280 pesos. According to conversion, 280,000 pesos, because we're in Mexico, so we're using pesos here, as restitution for the victim's family for killing their loved one. So in May of 2023, the charges are actually dropped after much protest and like a lot of anger going on, understandably. Her rapist, okay, so Cruz's family, the rapist's family, they immediately filed for appeal. She's getting death threats, I assume people who saw nothing wrong with what Cruz did or Cruz's family themselves. And she, of course, feels for the life of her son. Where's she at right now? We don't even know. The son's, like, apparently 4. This is going to say he was born in 2019. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode of Favorite Friday. Let me know what you think. Even though she did technically kill somebody, do you think she should have had to pay restitution? Do you think she should have been sentenced at all? And so, of course, let me know your thoughts down below. And I'll see you fellas next week. Bye.
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said?
understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confused.